like 2 months.
Longer than that.
Has it been longer?
Yeah, we haven't made content in a long time, so this will be good. I had it 2 o'clock, but I pushed it back,
Okay.
so we'll be good. So yeah,
What time is it
so
there? 1:35? Is it 2 hour difference?
yeah, this time of year, yeah, so it's 1:35. But so yeah, I had it 2 o'clock, but I pushed him back, so now I don't have anything until 3, so we should be good for a while. So all
Sweet.
right, I don't
Yeah.
really think we got an intro or anything, do we? I think that's handled for us now, right? Yeah.
I don't know. It's a great question. We should probably figure that out.
No, I think I think it got recorded already. I think we're taken care of there. All
Okay,
right, what's going
well,
on in your
think
world
of
right
another
now?
one. Mm, well, I think there's just a lot of busyness, which is good, good and bad. I feel like I don't really have a break, but some closings. My sister just closed on Friday. I think we closed. So, like this whole weekend was like helping move furniture and install ceiling fans, and it's fun. It's also just like a lot.
That's
I'm
one of the problems
tired.
when family buys houses is you have to help them with that stuff.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm super excited for them, and then trying to get back in the gym, and Cal Pal's been keeping me busy, and I mean, life, man. Every week there's something going on.
So I started my testosterone shots on Monday. So keep in mind it's been 2 days now, and I made the mistake of telling my trainer that. And this dude apparently thinks I'm like back up to like great levels already because he took up like my weight today by like 40 pounds on everything. And I was like,
Nice.
whoa, dude. I'm like, we just started this. I'm like, we're gonna die. So he got kind of mad on my last round of everything. I just went and grabbed lighter weights of everything so I could at least finish it. But he didn't really like that very much, but that's okay.
Well,
So
that's good though.
I'm like,
Hopefully,
give me
hopefully
three
all that
weeks.
stuff
I'm like,
helps.
that's gotta kick in a little bit. So yeah, give me 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean,
fun.
same over here. Just I mean, it's summertime, so you got to take it when it's here. So I'm just like, I mean, I think I've shown every house in the city of Omaha in the last 2 weeks, and we have, I don't know, 7 or 8 closings in between now and the end of the month. So it'll be
Nice.
good. You guys do closings differently there than we do, right? Don't you guys like sign 3 days before or something?
We usually sign like a day or so before. It's pretty rare to do same day signing and closing.
Hmm.
But yeah, basically that once all loan docs and everything gets signed, then it's in the title company's hand.
I wonder why you guys do
And then
that
they send
there.
it.
Like that you
I
just
don't know. How do
don't
you guys
like.
do it?
Well, we just close on the same day. So I mean, money gets transferred in the morning and they sign their paperwork, and whatever time they sign their paperwork that day is when they own it. So,
So ours technically is when Maricopa County like records the documents at the county. So
oh,
like it has nothing to do with when you sign. It has to do with when the county actually stamps it and signs it and sends it back to title. Then the title company will call us and say, "Hey, everything's done. We've recorded."
oh, that's
So that's
weird.
our moment. Yeah.
Oh, like what happens if
So
Maricopa
like there's
County just
sometimes like we have no idea when it's gonna close. Like there's some days like it'll record at like 9 a.m. or there's other days it'll be like 5 p.m. It just depends on
so? I
how
mean,
many
like, do
people
you
are
do a
in
lot
front of
of
you in line and all that.
do you do a lot of like pre-occupancy things there then, or
We try to. It depends on like if they're selling and closing, like if they're selling a listing and then buying this house on the same day, that's when things get a little tricky because someone either wants to pre-occupy or we post-occupy to like move and do all that kind of stuff. So it can be really tricky when like it's funny, I just talked to somebody on my team like an hour ago and they're like, "Hey, how do we it's like her first deals actually, which is super fun." And she's like, "So the buyers want to like move stuff in. Is that like legal? Can we do that? Like, what do I say?" And so kind of walked her through all that. But yeah, sometimes we'll like, can we just move some boxes into the house like before we close? And like,
hmm.
yeah, so like the liability thing is can be a little crazy. Like,
Well, and
say
how
if
do
the
you
house like
plan
freaking burns
anything?
down. Oh,
Like,
that's the tricky part.
do they always just plan to like move the day after recording technically in case recording is slow, or like how does that work?
No, what's crazy is you own close of escrow. So you still own that day. But as far as like owning it when, it's still gonna be that. So like you have to have all your electric, everything has to be
Oh,
in
I
your
see.
name as the
Okay.
new
All right.
buyer that day, but you can't technically move in until it's recorded because it's still technically the seller's house. until we get the recording confirmation.
Hmm,
So yeah, it can
that's
be,
wild. Wow.
yeah, it's pretty tricky sometimes. I mean,
Hmm,
most of the time it's fine. Most of the time the sellers are out the day before.
hmm. Yeah,
And
that's generally
then
the same way here because we do our like 48-hour walkthroughs, and most of the time the sellers are out of the house by then. But yeah, like you, I mean, you get the keys from the title company the minute that you
well, we
sign.
usually get
So
them at so your keys are always at title.
well, like we hold on to them like the agent. So we'll do our final walkthrough, then we'll take the
Yeah,
key with us, and then we hold on to it, and we have the garage codes and all that. And we're not really supposed to share that with them until
gotcha.
we're actually not really supposed to do anything until title has said that the money's actually transferred, and then we can actually hand keys out and stuff like that. But
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
different.
crazy. Yeah, it's super different.
There's like some state, I think it's Utah, where you actually have your inspections before you make an offer on a house, which I think would be incredibly weird. So
That's weird.
yeah, like the house was on the market for like a week or two. Everybody who's interested goes and has an inspection, and then they make their offer like with their inspection requests in there. So can you imagine like how much money you would
Huh.
waste?
No, I was gonna say that
Like,
sounds like a really expensive way to
I know. I
buy
mean,
a
it's great for
house.
the seller because I've always thought it's kind of stupid. Like, okay, we agreed to this price, but then you go and have an inspection and now you want like $4,000 worth of stuff. Then we go and have an appraisal, and then the appraisal tells us that it's low. So now I have to give you more money off. Like, I feel like that would be kind of nicer if that was all just bundled up, but I just find it fascinating to see like
Yeah.
what every kind of state's doing. Have you ever had anybody like move into a house sooner than they're supposed to?
Uh
Like preoccupy without
yeah.
permission, basically.
Yeah. Oh, without permission?
Mhm.
No, 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 no. Never that. You have.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I told that story or not, but yeah, I sure did. Yeah. So,
No, never had that happen. That tell us the story.
well, yeah, I don't remember if I told that story, but my real estate mentor and I used to go to this restaurant, I don't know, 3 days a week or whatever. And the one of the girls that worked there, she had used me to buy a house, which mentor wasn't really that happy about anyway, because he had been going to that restaurant long before I was in the business anyway. So he felt she should have used him, but it worked out because we ended up buying one of his listings. But the listing couldn't go FHA, and my people were FHA, but we basically said, like, look, it's
Hey, can
fine.
I say hi?
We will just
Yeah. You can come
what?
say hi.
Who's that?
Sorry, we have a
You're
visitor.
fine. What's up?
What up?
Did you darken your hair?
Maybe?
Take your glasses off, you goof. You're inside.
No, I'm on my way outside. So I'm
Oh, I
preparing
see.
myself.
I see.
Yeah.
Meet me outside. Yeah.
Catch me outside.
Yeah.
I'm going to an inspection, but it's good to see you.
Oh, nice. You're having an inspection on what today?
I have an inspection on my listing, but I'm actually dual agency. So I'm going with the
Oh,
buyers.
nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
You know, you
Good
dig?
luck.
Yeah, that's good. How
All
am I
right.
doing?
Well, love
Like,
your face.
thank you. Love yours
You,
too.
you can't see it.
Yeah, I can. I know what your face looks like anyway. So,
All right. Delete all of this from your guys' little thing.
well, obviously,
right.
that's not going to stay on there.
Good luck.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll be around to talk.
Did I talk to him? No. Not since when?
Do you think I look like a snatch?
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Don't worry about it.
Sorry.
Oh, I've been working on it.
Like since when? Talk to Jay?
Oh, I bet
Hi, Mary. Oh, she always gives me a hard time, Mary. Yes.
It doesn't look like I had a baby.
You didn't have a
Did you
baby.
know somebody asked me if I adopted or if I had a surrogate? Wow. Isn't that so offensive? But I'm so.
Is it offensive?
It's so nice.
I get the same thing all the time. Yeah.
No, I'm doing Pilates. Really? Lots of Pilates, the Pilati Bati,
Love that.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I heard they're charging more and more these days to take those classes. Yeah. My membership
You
is
what?
ridiculous. I don't.
But then you look like this.
That's exactly right.
That's not wrong.
This is actually going to make like a
Good
great
luck.
blooper reel.
I know I did. We'll talk. Are you coming back?
Yeah, but.
Okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit.
One thing.
I did. All right. Bye.
You should go close your door.
It was closed.
It is closed. She opened
Oh,
it.
stay out.
Yeah. Yeah, it was closed, and
Nicole.
I thought it was somebody on my team walking in
Somebody
because they have that.
productive.
Yeah.
No, so me and my
Okay,
mentor
sorry
would go
about
to
that.
this. You're fine. Me and my mentor would go to this restaurant. This is a pizza place, like 2 or 3 nights a week. And this girl named Amy ended up using me to buy a house. She came in as like a lead because I was new. And we ended up buying one of my mentor's listings anyway. So it worked out because he was kind of mad that she didn't use him to begin with, but he was fine after that. So the listing was like an estate and it wasn't going to go FHA. But my people were FHA, so we convinced the sellers to go along with it because if there was any FHA repairs, um, Mr. Buyer was a contractor, so he would just like go in there and fix them ahead of time and do all that. It's like we wouldn't ask the sellers to do anything. So apparently they took that as they get to move in. So like one day, it's like a week before closing, I'm checking in with the buyer and I'm like, hey, how are all the repairs going? And she's like, oh, great. She's like, we love it here. We've moved all of our stuff in, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean you've moved in? Because again, like we had no idea about that. And so there's like 5 brothers, I guess, involved with the estate. And so I have to like tell my mentor this. I'm like, I'm not really sure what to do. And so I called my buyer and I'm like, you guys need to like go stay at a hotel or something. Like, I'll pay for it. Just like leave your stuff there, but just like turn all the lights off, go to a hotel. Like you can't be there. You're not allowed to be in the house. And luckily we got it figured out and we got a pre-occupancy agreement signed. But yeah, so I've definitely had
Jeez.
people preoccupy before they were apparently allowed to. So
Yeah. Yeah. That, thank God that's never happened for us. The only time that ever I've only had an issue was, I mean, you're really not supposed to move anything into the house before you close, right?
right.
And I told my buddy, it's funny, it was the day before we were closing. Good buddy, I've known him since high school. And I'm like, look, dude, here's the key. Like, we're closing tomorrow. Do
Mhm.
not go inside the house until we close.
And
Just
he
like
went,
promise me that. Like, we're all good. Well, he decided to move some stuff into the house,
mm,
like boxes and nothing like crazy, but like like the night of. And apparently the next morning or something, the sellers forgot stuff in like the medicine cabinet
mm.
and they came back and they were supposed to be gone, whatever, and like freaked out. The agent called me like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like, what are your buyers doing? They're not supposed to be in the house and blah, blah, blah. They're already moving stuff in. And then I have to call my buddy and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I told you specifically, don't. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Like,
how'd
it
they
was
get a
just a
key,
ball. I didn't
Curtis?
think
That's
anyone
what
was
I'd have
there.
asked you if I
I'm
was the
like,
agent.
dude, that was my bad. Yeah. So now I'm like,
Right.
yeah, that was like at the very beginning of my real estate journey. And now I'm like, no, never again. I don't trust anybody anymore. Not
No,
even a really close friend of mine.
I know that's hard.
So,
They get excited. They want to move stuff
mm-hmm.
in. Plus, they don't really see like the bad part of that could happen. Like you said, a fire could start, random crap could happen, and then
Yeah.
they're responsible for
And
it.
it's,
So that's not
yeah.
good. Mm-mm.
So,
So I bought a new car this week or last
oh,
week, and it kind of taught me a lot about customer service. Um, and then I'm kind of coupling that with I started reading this new book. It's a very easy book to read. It's like 30 pages, and it's called The 10 Golden Rules of Customer Service. Um, they're very basic, but if you haven't read it, you should read it.
I'm gonna write it
It,
down right now.
the book starts off with like the first story is called The Story of the $6,000 Egg. And this couple that lives in Newport Beach, um, they go into the same restaurant
Love it.
every other day after the gym. They order a burger, they split it, and everybody knows their name. They sit in the same spot, whatever. And one day he sees this special on the menu for like a fried egg that goes on top of a waffle. And his wife loves fried eggs. So he's like, hey, can I get one of those put on our burger? And they said no. And he's like, what do you mean no? I can't have a fried egg. Anyway, like he ends up talking to the manager. The manager's like, we only order enough of these to make the waffle special. So if someone comes in here and wants one of the waffles and we've run out, like that's gonna make us look bad. And he's like, I've spent $6,000 here over the last year and a half, and you're really gonna piss me off enough to lose me as a customer, but you're worried about pissing off like a $15 potential waffle special customer that's never been here before. And then he ends up leaving and he never goes to that restaurant again. So that's kind of like the lead into the book. But so I told my team about this same story. So I go in and I bought a new Jeep. It was like $65,000, right? And I don't buy the tire and wheel package. And the next day I get a nail in my or screw in my tire in the sidewall, no less. That's my luck. And we were supposed to go on a little road trip, so I took it in because it wasn't filling up with air. And the guy comes in and he's like, you have a screw in your sidewall." And I was like, "Oh, of course I do, because I didn't buy the little tire and wheel package." I'm like, "I think you guys did that on purpose, so I would regret not buying the tire and wheel package." And so they had to do the same thing. They had to order it. It took like 4 or 5 days, whatever. So I go to pick it up last week, and they're like, "Here are your keys. You're good to go." And I was like, "Oh, don't I owe you guys anything?" And they're like, "No, we took care of it for you." And so I couple that with I also own 2 Porsches that I think we've talked about. One of them I love, one of them I can't stand. And Porsche, very expensive car brand, charges me like $800 this winter to switch my summer to winter tires. And ever since I've owned that car, I've been nickel and dimed like no one's business there. And that kind of taught me like a lesson about, I guess I've always just thought like the more you spend, the higher end the brand, the better the customer service is going to be. And it's more of like kind of a white glove treatment. And I guess it's the exact opposite there. So I was just kind of amazed that like a car that was half the cost of a different car gave me much better customer service and made me feel so special as a person. And the other place that's double the money has no desire to make you feel that way. So it kind of just reminded me of how to incorporate that into real estate. And
Mhm.
even if I think I'm providing like great service to people, like how can you elevate that and make that better? And then that kind of led me to read this book too. So the first rule in there is called make milestones meaningful, which we all know that like happy birthday calls or texts and things that aren't necessarily related to real estate, but keeps you top of mind, right?
Mhm.
And then like calling 24 hours after closing to make sure that their move goes okay or there were no issues and things like that. Like you really want to over exaggerate all those milestones because it makes people remember. So that book's great so far. You should read it.
Yeah, I wrote it down. I definitely will. I think it's also a good reminder, like, doesn't really matter the price of the house, like, still have the same type of quality treatment for any customer, no matter, even if it's a rental, really.
Mhm.
Like, I don't do a ton of rentals or leases, but providing the same quality, like, those people will remember that.
100%. Well, and I've told
Yeah.
like it was funny. I was telling my buddy that story, and he's like, just based upon like all the people that you've probably cost that car dealership like $2 million in potential vehicle sales. Where if they would have just taken care of you, they'd probably have two
Yeah, and
million
it's
dollars in
it's
vehicle
like
sales.
nothing to
So
them.
absolutely not. No, it's nothing to them. And
Yeah,
but it's nothing to them. But like that was a huge deal to me. Especially on a brand new
absolutely.
car. Like that other dealership probably made like $1,500, if that, on this new car because they don't make any money on new cars. So the fact that they took care of everything was just great. It made me feel really special. And it reminded me why I still always want a Jeep because I miss my Jeeps. We both got new
That's
cars, by
good,
the
dude.
way, but
Yeah, we did. I got a new one too. Well, I got a new car. So I'm like weird where you buy a lot more cars than I do, and I'll have a car for like 5 years,
says the
and
guy
then
who
it'll be
just
time to
says the
upgrade.
guy who just got 2 cars in
Well,
6 months.
that's my whole point is I got a new car in December. I needed an SUV for Cal Pal and I thought the best choice was going to be a fast SUV in Cal Pal's terms. So I got a BMW X3M, which is the fast version, but it's smaller. And I've realized that I don't know what I had it for 6 months, and I just got now I got an X5. But the X5 is like the practical, comfortable, convenient, not base model, but basically like your base model. But it's got
Well, yeah,
like a
it
lot of
doesn't
the,
have like the soul of an M3, right?
yeah, no exhaust. It's not super fast. It's like, good gas mileage. It's super comfortable. It's got air ride suspension, and I swear it's like riding on a cloud,
Oh,
which I
nice.
absolutely love. It's so comfortable. Like the seats are great, massagers in the seats. Like I probably won't ever really use it, but
I
it's
have that in
just
the Jeep too, and I've used that every day since I bought it.
Really?
because that'll
Maybe I'll
probably,
try it out some more.
but it'll wear off pretty quickly. That's like one of those.
Yeah, it's kind of gimmicky, but at the
Just
same
like we
time,
found out
like
the other
it's
day
so
that
much more
that
comfortable.
we have night vision in my Jeep. I don't know why I said we, it's just me, but I have night vision in my Jeep. And the other day I was at my buddy's house and I had actually not driven it at night yet. And so we just had to go drive around his neighborhood. And I actually cannot think of one single legitimate reason why I need night vision because the headlights have to be on for it to work. So like, wouldn't you just think like if the headlights are on that I'm going to see what's in front of me anyway? So I guess I really don't know what the night vision's for, but it's just kind of
I wonder
cool.
if it is this for going forward or reverse. Reverse would make
Going forward.
sense.
No, it's going forward.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm
That's
just like,
a
I'm very confused what it's even for. I mean, it's a cool feature to have, but I'm just,
maybe it's for like hunting or like going somewhere in the
yeah, but again, like you have to have
the
your headlights
forest.
on. So like, if you're trying to hunt, everything's gonna be
Yeah,
scared
I
away
don't
by
know.
your headlights anyway. It's very confusing. It's a fun feature to have, so whatever.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm really happy with the new car. And I mean, fortunately, BMW has given me pretty good service so far.
Oh,
So
good. Okay, cool.
I had a Lexus before. Lexus was amazing. I'm diehard Lexus. I'll go to my grave being diehard Lexus. But for the time being, the BMW is working out. Yeah.
So my buddy told me this the other day, so I'll be curious to hear what you think of this. So, his girlfriend has like a sleeve tattoo, and her boss does this like exercise at work. That's like, what's your thing that makes you approachable, or what do people come and talk to you about in public? So it kind of made me think about like, what's my thing, but then like, how do I notice those things in other people? So like, I think for you and I, it's like the watch we wear, or shoes, or
hmm
clothes in general, or things like that. Like her thing is
hmm
90% of conversations that get started with her, I guess, are because of like her tattoo, and people are like, oh, what does that mean? Like, what made you want to get that? That kind of thing. And mine is, oh, what kind of watch is that? Like I have, I have this type of
Yeah.
Rolex and yours is this, whatever. Or they talk about my shoes or clothes in general or whatever. So that's kind of like my thing, I guess, that makes me approachable, we'll say. Um, but I don't know, that's kind of like I pose that question to my team too. Like I want you guys to think about like what your thing is. Like if you're at an event or you're out in public, like what is your thing that's going to make people come talk to you or like ask you a question as like a lead in, and then just like how to look for those things in other people when you want to like approach them.
hmm
I don't know, I'd never really looked at it that
Well,
way.
it's funny you say that because that's exactly how I messaged you, how
Mhm.
we met, because we had the same watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And but I mean,
Yeah.
like I
So
think a
that's
lot of people like
yeah.
struggle with like, oh, I don't know, like what to go say to this person that I just met, or what,
Yeah.
or not just met, sorry, like I'm at this event and like I don't know how to start conversation, or even if you're like in an open house as a realtor. I mean, like I'll try and see what kind of car people drive up in. Like there, I don't know, 7 years ago, I met this guy named Richard, and him and his wife showed up in a and oh, they showed up in a Mercedes, but he owns the BMW motorcycle dealership in Omaha. And so I kind of gave him crap. I was like, so why do you drive a Mercedes? And he was like, oh, it turns out that the BMW dealership in Omaha is not great and didn't give me a discount. So I went to the Mercedes dealership in Lincoln because I know the owner and they gave me a discount. So I was like, oh, fair enough. But I mean, like that just starts conversation with people. So,
Yeah.
because you can start with like, oh, it's great weather out there. How's your day? Whatever. But like, I don't know, that's like an
Yeah.
instant kind of connection, I guess. So it was an interesting question that was posed to me. And so like I said, I asked my team and I gave them all the homework of like trying to figure that out with everybody else on the team. Like, how would you approach them out in public if you wanted to go talk to them? So,
Yeah. I think I'm a big believer in like a compliment is always like the easiest in, like complimenting someone's outfit or hair or whatever that is, watch, shoes. But being out here in Arizona, it's really rare to have somebody that's actually from Arizona.
mm,
So one of the easy things for me is like, well, where are you guys from? And like
oh,
I
yeah, that's
know
true.
people from all over the country. So it's like, oh, we're from Omaha. Oh my gosh, like one of my best friends lives out there. How long do you live out here? And it's just like an easy transition. Or
And
like
by the way,
my dad's from
that's not as
Illinois.
rare as you would think in Arizona, because like half of Omaha has a second house in Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why it's great to like, oh, I know people out there. I was just out there. Or like I know people in California. Like I know people all over the country, which is nice. Or if like say Colorado, like I went to school out there. So that's an easy in for me
Hmm.
with just where you guys from? because
I could
it's
do that too, and
90% of the time it's like, oh, we're from somewhere else.
I could do that here
And
too.
I
I could
just
be like,
try
"Oh, where
to
are you from?" And if they say Omaha, I could be like, "Oh, so you're used to the shitty weather too." So I could kind of make fun of it because most of the time they're going to say they're from here, but yeah. Well,
yeah.
that's a good one.
So and that's easy. And that's
Oh
like
yeah, that
non
is
that's
easy.
like a and people are usually prideful of where they're from and
Mhm.
you could just go along with that. But um yeah, that is a good question as far as like what is it for you that makes you approachable. I think for me too, just always smiling. I think
Mhm.
just smiling everywhere you go is makes it easy to be approachable. And
I don't
just like
have a I don't have a smiling face.
we're working on that.
No, I know my Botox lady's working on that.
Yeah,
We're we have to microdose, and it only lasts for like 2 weeks at a time, but it basically inhibits you
well,
from frowning.
yeah, just make it a habit to smile more is helpful. And like, I mean, I don't know. I'm a big believer in like dress for success. And I mean, now that it's summertime, it's like hard to wear a suit or like dressy clothes, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can still look nice and presentable everywhere you go.
Well, and
And
then they say
I
like
think
if
that
you're
also
sitting like
helps.
at a bar, because like I don't know, it's like I'll go to eat lunch by myself quite a bit or whatever, and like but I'll always sit at the bar, and but what do I do? I'm usually on my phone, and I'm either text messaging
Hmm.
or email, like whatever. So nobody's gonna come up and interrupt your phone time to try and
Yeah.
talk to you. So even though like it just feels weird, if especially if there's like nobody at the bar to begin with, like just sit there and like look around and eat your food, but like just kind of get your head out of your phone and just look up
Yeah.
and just look at what's going on around you. Because then I think, I don't know, people think you want to engage more, I guess. So I think that's an easy one too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Heck yeah. Yeah. I think in this business, you gotta just be easy to talk to and approachable and you never
That I
know
think is
what
that
one
I
little
think is true in
conversation
any
turns
kind of
into.
that I think is true in any kind of sales. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of that, how do you kind of I mean, a lot of people think that that we're in, you know, quote sales, right? And I don't really consider myself a salesman.
Hmm.
I kind of consider myself like a relationship builder, and I know that you're a lot of the same way, but I mean,
Yeah.
I guess like in your words, how do you differentiate the two? What makes the two different for you? Relationship versus like sales.
I think salesy is all, I mean, I hate to say it, but like everyone like compares that to like a used car salesman where they're just trying to
Mhm.
churn and burn the cars and it doesn't really, most, I would say like used car places are just, they don't really care about the client. It's all about the numbers and hitting their sales goals and whatever. But, I think also in this business where our goal is to be here for a while and it's like, yeah, you get the sales, but it's about the people more than about the sales number. And I look at myself as like a connector as
Mhm.
well, like not just relationships, but like a connector with if somebody asks me like, hey, do you know a whatever handyman or do you know somebody who does property management? Do you know somebody who does whatever plumbing? Like connecting people with other people, or if it's just like somebody traveling out of state and there's like, hey, do you know somebody out this way? And it's like, oh, I know an agent that's in this area, like connect with them and connect. And it's like, that's pretty cool to be the one that people come to for just, hey, do you know somebody?
For
Or,
sure.
hey, we're looking for tickets for this. Do you have somebody or looking for a reservation for this place? Can you help me out? And like being a connector with basically just anything that can provide value to somebody and whatever that looks like is super helpful. And I think that's really helped my business grow and helped me kept the clients that I have.
No, I love that. I think that's great. I mean, I don't really know that I'd explain that any differently, to be honest. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, it's sales is focused on one thing, and it's funny, like you'll meet, like I always talk about because most of my lenders have really not referred me to anybody because a lot of times it starts with the realtor and then it goes to the lender. And a lot
Hmm.
of realtors will like partner with a lender that just feeds them business all the time, but that lender sucks. And so I'm
Hmm.
like, see, that's not good for your clientele either. That's good for you, but I'd rather have like a lender that just makes my life easy, my buyer's life easy. I know everything's going to close. And even if like I get like one deal every 5 years from them, I don't care because I have enough business on
Hmm.
my own. I'm not really that worried about it. But I want them to like make my life easy because then the client's going to give me more deals if that deal was easy, right? So,
Yeah.
like I have this executive moving here from Iowa, so not that far away, and she doesn't know anybody here, and they want to do like a kitchen remodel. They wanted to like add all this garage storage. They want to do all this painting and everything else, and like they think I'm just the best person in the world. They're going to invite me over for all these pasta dinners after they close and all this other stuff because they both cook at home all the time, and because I've met with the cabinet people. I've sketched it all out. Like I've gotten everything sent to them. I've met with the painter. I have everybody lined up after they move in. Like I've taken a lot of that workload off of them so they can just focus on, because I mean, moving here for starters is stressful anyway and requires a lot of time and effort. So the more of
Mhm.
that I can take away from them, and like you go out and you meet somebody who owns a cabinet company, you might be like, I don't know how on earth this is ever gonna help me in my real estate career. And same thing with like plumbers or whatever. And it's just keeping those people in your back pocket and so that people remember to reach out to you first. Like I think we love being a resource for everybody to reach
Yeah.
out to. Like we've had a lot of bad storms here in the last couple of weeks, but we just recently had one. It rained like 6 or 7 inches of rain in like 5 hours, and most houses in Omaha had water in the basement in some capacity. And my buddy texted me. He goes, "Yeah, we have so and so company coming out here next week," and I was like, "You what?" And I was like, "First of all, no." I'm like, "You need to talk to me first before you like have anybody like that come on," because this company is known for like they charge like 10 times as much as anybody else for doing the same thing, and like they feed off of people having no idea what's going on. And like if you just need simple caulk, they sell you like an entire system of like interior drain tile, and they gotta like jack up your foundation and all this other stuff. So like we don't use that company. And then I immediately like fire off like three different recommendations to him. And like I think people think they're like annoying you if they're like, hey, like who's your window guy, or who's this or who's that or
Mhm.
whatever. And it's like, no, that never annoys us because again, I mean it's cool to be that resource. And then it's cool because we usually know the owners of those companies, and we connect them,
Yeah.
we help their business grow and those kind of things too. So
Yeah, I was just gonna add, like, it's fun to see, like, especially at our age, there's a lot of people starting their own businesses and whatever. Like, one of
sure.
my good buddies is like started a handyman thing, and he's like killing it. So I always refer him. And then it's funny, one of my buddies, one of my old teammates, just texted me yesterday that he started like an epoxy garage flooring company,
Sweet.
and he's like, "Dude, if you got anybody like that," so it's like it's nice to have all these people like in your pocket, and if they're your friends, like it's a double win
Hmm.
for everybody, and they're probably gonna work harder for you because they're your friend and they want to keep getting business. And
Right.
yeah, it's been fun. I love that kind of stuff, and just so it makes the world go around, man. And I really enjoy that kind of stuff. I don't know,
Yeah, no,
whatever
yeah.
it's
I mean,
called.
you are kind of like a master connector in that regard, more with even just like on a national level, like you kind of thrive at conventions and things like that. So you're probably super bummed that our conventions are canceled
Oh,
thanks to
yeah, it's
all the
crazy,
things going
man.
on in the world. But
The good thing is I've made a lot of friends in the meantime,
hmm,
throughout the years, so I can still come visit,
right.
which could also be like another win of like, yeah, it's cool to like meet people there, but it's also cool to like deepen the relationship
Hmm,
more, like come out on a weekend and we'll film some real estate content and we'll actually get to hang out one on one versus just like the craziness of convention and all that kind of stuff. But it's like I'm going out to Florida next month to go see Noah,
sweet.
and we'll do some real estate filming and go to the beach a little bit. And then, yeah, I'll be coming out to Omaha in August.
Speaking of
I
that,
want, I really want to do like a little,
I gotta make those videos for Noah.
I know I do too. I've been slacking.
I have all the videos made.
That's,
I just need to do the voiceover part, which
oh, good for you.
I haven't been great on that. Well, I just had my drone company just go out like in a 1 week period, and they literally videoed everything I want them to video. So
That's awesome.
now next week we have it on the schedule where they're just gonna set up my camera set up in front of me, and then I'll just voice over everything at once, and then we'll just kind of casually premiere it over the next year or so.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta actually do. I want to like one of my big things is the neighborhood that I live in, and they just another new build. I should actually go visit that. They just opened up another new company. It's called New Home Co. Do you guys have New Home Co. out there?
Nope.
It's like a Taylor Morrison or like a
Mm.
K Hov or whatever, but they just opened up a new phase in my little neighborhood. So they had their grand opening like 2 weeks ago and I couldn't make it, but I want to go check that out and check out the floor plans and do some social media for all that. And I think, man, my stuff has just blown up, man. It's absolutely insane. And
I
credit
know.
to Cal Pal for letting my stuff just it's unreal, dude, how much my socials just blown. So I really got to take advantage of the publicity and all that and hope that it turns into some sales or new. I mean, the cool thing is getting a lot of like new, not friends, but just like people reaching out, sending me free stuff for Cal,
I know, and that's
inviting us to
cool.
car races and all that. And
And again, that's just
that's
like
fun.
that's just connecting. So,
Yeah. And I love that. I'm a huge fan of that.
but I
So,
mean, the social media thing
uh,
is like important. I said that in my last team meeting. We went out and toured. You know, DR Horton came to Omaha three years ago, and
mhm.
they had another one of their grand opening neighborhoods, and we went out there as a team because they give out like bonuses and stuff. They have like a whole platinum club and everything, and instead of us individually doing it, we're grouping it together as a team. They said they had a team in Iowa that like had like $150,000 in bonuses by the end of the year. Um, I don't think we'll ever get
Jeez.
that high, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. Um, and so we went out there and I just shot literally I took my phone out and I did like a 5 second pano of the little townhomes we went and toured, posted it on my Instagram, then it was like new construction under $290,000. And that was it. And I had two people reaching out to me and we're gonna go like grab coffee, we're gonna go tour it and see if they want to buy it. And you know, I mean, so I tell my team, I'm like, that was literally the easiest effort I've ever put into getting a new client. I didn't have to sit in an open house. I didn't have to like make cold calls. I didn't have to spend any money at all. In fact, I made money because they gave you a $500 bonus card for just coming out there. So like,
Oh, that's cool.
and I'm like, it was the easiest thing ever. You just take your camera out, do a 5 second pano, and it got people online. So the social media thing, really, no matter how big your following is
Yeah.
so important. And whatever. Some people are gonna get it, and some people aren't. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, all it takes is one person.
I know.
You know,
Well, if you think about it,
I
like
like
you're
the side of it as, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, I think the marketing side of like once it grows a little bit and you have videos and you're good on camera and all that, like I think it's easier to get listings that way too, because that's like a big value add for like a seller. It's like,
Right.
hey, I have X amount of followers and I usually get X amount of views per videos that we make. So, when we list your house, like you're gonna get all these eyeballs on your house, and hopefully one of those people or multiple of those people would want to buy it. So, I think it's been helpful in that regard too, for like the marketing side of things and
Yeah, I
helping
mean, like
sellers get
the
exposed
biggest
to
thing that I
listings.
use social media for, I mean, it's funny, like I see some agents, they post a picture on Facebook and they're like, oh, I'm gonna be in an open house today from 2 to 4. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not gonna do anything because like that's the first post you've made in 5 months. Like nobody's even paying attention to that. And I think they
Hmm.
think like, oh, if I just put this out on Instagram, all these unknown people to me are gonna see it and come to my open house. I'm like, well, that's not really how that works. And I mean, my goal is to have 4 to 5 things in my story every day because it's just staying relevant. So you're always on top of people's little bubbles on the top of their phone. And then I just notice all the time, like just every week there's just for me, there's like just 2 to 3 new followers that I didn't know before and the ones that are real. And then I get a whole lot of
Yeah.
random spam crap too. But and then, eventually like they watch all your stuff and then I don't know, 6 months, a year later, they reach out about, hey, we've been watching you for a long time. Or it's even funny, like I'll go
Hmm.
out I'll go like the other day I was out showing houses and some person was in one of the houses. He was like a videographer and he's like, hey, I follow your Instagram. And I had not introduced myself. So obviously he just recognizes my face and I had no idea who this person was. And I mean, I do now, but like it's kind of fun when you start to like get to that level because it kind of means you're doing something right, I guess, in the Instagram world.
Heck
And
yeah.
it's not about like, oh, I'm gonna put this listing out here for sale on Instagram and this post is gonna sell it because that's usually not the case. It's just also nobody wants to work with someone who's not busy. So,
Yeah.
they don't want to work with a realtor who does one house a year. So, I mean, the more stuff you put out there, the busier you look, right? Like I've told agents
Yeah.
just, and if you're a new agent, like go out and just like look at vacant houses, go to open houses, go to every like agent tour thing you can and like take videos and make content because the public literally has no idea what you're doing. They
Hmm.
they think you're out showing these houses and doing all this. And I tell agents on my team like we literally have TV shows about our business. There's not a lot of TV shows about other industries. Like accountants don't
Hmm.
have TV shows about their industries. Like lawyers don't have like reality TV shows about their industry. Like we do. People love houses. They love real estate. It's fascinating for them. So like, why would you not go out when your job is fascinating to most people and just do content on it? And it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be big, expensive videos. I mean, you can mix all those in, but it's literally just, again, a 5-second pano of the townhome you're going to see, and that's it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I also love the side of like, again, just like connecting with people and, what they post is, most of the time it's something. I think maybe it's more Facebook related too. Facebook is definitely more like life events or like, hey,
yeah.
we got married or hey, we had a baby or like someone's birthday or whatever it is. And I think you could use that as kind of prospecting in a sense of just like or building relationships. I guess not doesn't have to be prospecting, but like get 10 minutes a day just to like comment on five people's posts, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like my buddy, just his daughter just got like second place in like the long jump at track. And it's like, just comment that really quick. Like, oh my God, it's amazing. Like, great job. Like just little things like that, just to see you're still active in their life. And
Well, yeah, so like one of my
I think
lenders
that goes a long way.
told me this tool about, it's called social selling. And so, I mean, and this is true like in Indian industry that you're in, but like we all spend a ton of time every day on social media. So why not actually make it like purposeful? And so,
Yeah.
social selling is just for like 10 minutes of when you're actually on social media. You can scroll all you want the rest of the day, but for like the first 10 minutes, actually do that. Like, first of all, click the little thing that tells you whose birthday it is, and then either tell them happy birthday on Facebook or then call them or text them later on or whatever. It depends on how well
Hmm.
you know them, I guess. But then, like the rest of it, just scroll through and look for those life events, like you said, and they can be so small. They could be, you know, like you just said, like high jump record or like this person's kid just like won state golf or whatever. It doesn't have to be some big event like they
Yeah.
got married or whatever. But I mean, and it's not cheesy. I mean, you're just genuinely actually like,
Yeah. I was gonna say genuinely do that. Don't just put fire emojis on
no, yeah, don't do that.
someone's
No, no, yeah,
post.
like,
Just
yeah,
to,
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, just don't go do that. I mean, actually, like, read the
yeah,
post,
genuinely make a
like,
comment. Yeah.
yeah, and then and then you like make comments about like how cool that is, or like blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
But then again, like people are just seeing your name in like a positive light everywhere, and eventually they're gonna be like, "Who's this person?" Like if they don't already know you,
Hmm.
and they'll start to click on it, and you'll kind of gradually just start to see, more followers happen from that too. I mean, and like you said, that's more of a Facebook thing because Instagram, it's really hard to see people's comments anyway. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I think social media is not going anywhere.
Mm-mm.
And it's definitely a good place to build relationships even deeper. And um, yeah, it is hard though. I think social media is like a full-time job if you're trying to do, I'm especially me with like the car stuff and Cal and real estate and it's like I got to post something every day and that gets really hard. And it's funny. I was telling we have a little mastermind here and I was telling them that it's almost feeling like an obligation to now since I have a good following. Like
Mhm.
now I feel obligated to post stuff about Cal and cars and this and that. And it used to just be like whatever I felt like posting, I'm gonna
Yeah, it used to be
post.
fun. Yeah.
And now it's almost like a job and it's like a weird dynamic of like now I feel like I have to for my followers and it's not as fun anymore. Or now it's like everywhere I go with Cal, I feel like I have to start recording something because then you never know what's gonna come out of his mouth that's gonna quote unquote go viral or whatever. But so it is weird. There's definitely a balance of like live in the moment, don't always have your phone out, don't feel like everything has to get posted, but also like you still want to engage with people and post content. So it's a tricky thing.
I know. So, well, yeah, I mean, social media is hard. Like, I got to give props to Marie in Portland and all the videos she makes because, like, I mean, she shoots like professional type videos a lot, like 4 or 5 of them in
Yeah.
like a week. And I have no idea how she does all that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the whole like, visiting like boutique restaurants or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and just like trying to highlight those businesses. And it's like, one, actually thinking about that like creatively and then finding the time to go do that. I mean, me, I have to reshoot a video 5 or 6 times before I'm happy with it. So I can't even imagine how much time that actually takes her to do. because that can be exhausting. Like you said, then it becomes like a full-time
Yeah.
job, and then you like forget about real estate. But again, like it just it goes on there. Like, does that sell the house? Probably not. But again, like it builds up her following, and then she just has more eyes on everything. And when you go on listing appointments and all, and then it just like connects with restaurant owners and things like that too. So the whole connection thing as well. So
Yeah. It also is a good like opportunity for a buyer or seller to kind of see your personality and like they almost feel like they know you via social media even if they've never met you in person. So
yeah,
yeah, and I think
someone told me at an Inman conference a long time ago, um, that I think it's her name's Marky Lemons, and she's like, I am a short-haired, short, sound like a man woman, and I'm out here making YouTube videos and TikTok videos. And she's like, so if you think that you can't do it, or you're too ugly to be on camera, or you don't like your voice or whatever, she goes, that's stupid. Just do it. And, she's like, I don't really care if you're posting drinks at happy hour, pictures at happy hour, your family went to a museum or on a roller coaster this weekend. She's like, people want to get to know who they're going to approach about buying the biggest purchase they're ever going to make in their lives, right? I
mhm,
mean, most of the time, those newer clients really don't get to meet you in person before they reach out to you, right? Um, or, if they see one of your listings and they Google you and they go on your Instagram or your Facebook, they'll start to get an idea of your personality before they even have to meet you. And so that's why, like, I mean, you and I both, I think, do a good job of that. You more than me, because I kind of forget to post a lot of personal stuff. I just post a lot of just
yeah,
real estate things. I mean, so much of my life is so intertwined with real estate where I don't really consider them separate anyway. But
yeah,
like posting the personal stuff too is super important because, like you said, it shows people your personality and if they're gonna like kind of jive well with you or not. So
for sure. Yeah. And yeah, I think that's the tricky part is like, I know a lot of people will have just a straight business account and then other people have a personal account. And for me, it's kind of the same thing,
yeah.
but it is now that, I mean, the cow pal thing has just blown up. So I feel like that's a segment of my social media, then like personal stuff with myself and then real estate and then travel and all that other stuff. But there's plenty of stuff to post, that's for sure, and shoot and
So
engage with
speaking of
people and
shooting, you started to get back into basketball again, right?
yeah. Yeah, my so I've been working out quite a bit this last say 6 months maybe. I mean, the physical therapy, just to remind people, I tore both of my Achilles the last couple of years. And getting back into shape and running shape and jumping is difficult um in that regard. So we are back to I wouldn't say playing. I played in one game a couple months ago and it was okay. Like I still wasn't mentally. It's such a weird thing to go through injuries like that. But I just got some new shoes. Shout out Kobe, RIP. I got chosen on the sneakers app for it's kind of like a random drawing, and I got chosen to buy them, and I did. So, um, yeah, went and did like a shooting workout for the first time. Well, maybe not the first time, but hard shooting workout the last 2 weeks ago, week ago, something like that, and we're getting back, man. I missed it. I've missed playing, but it is such a weird mental challenge to get over because you like, and I mean, shoot, I just turned 35, so I'm old now. Body doesn't do the things it used to do. Mentally, I'm still feel like I'm in college, but it's hard to get back. But I'm excited. It's gotten me some motivation for playing with these young bucks and showing them a thing or two on the basketball court. So we'll
Basketball is
see how
kind of
that
your
goes.
way of unwinding and relaxing, isn't it? Well, not really relaxing, but it's your way of
Yeah,
kind of
it is
unwinding, right?
stress relief, I would say. Put my headphones in, and just dribble and shoot. I was a shooting guard, so shooting was my world. Just get shots up, and it's frustrating, um, getting back into it just because how good I used to be to how I am now. But
Mhm.
it is something. I mean, even if it's 30 minutes just to get in the gym, you kind of zone out, headphones in, and just do your thing. It's a good
Yeah,
way
so
to
do you
just
like shoot by
block
yourself?
out
Are you
everything
always
else.
like in a pickup game? Is the gym part
It
like
depends who's
empty a lot of
there.
times or
I will absolutely play if there's a game. So I go to Lifetime, and Lifetime used to have two full courts. Now there's only one court, and the other half they turn into like all these pickleball courts, which
Mm,
I'm not
can't blame them
super
there.
happy about. But
Mm.
I know that's where the money's at for them. So, yeah. So the last time I was there, there was nobody in the gym except a couple kids, and I'm not beating up on some 8-year-olds. So, it was just me just dribbling and shooting. Like I have like these shooting workouts that I used to do way back in the day, so I kind of mimic those just by myself. But no, if it's 3-on-3, I'll play. If it's 5-on-5 full court, I'll try to run up and down a little bit and just to get some cardio in and just get that feeling back of playing. And I miss talking smack to when I play. So just a little like I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like a mental thing to get back in and do again. It's a fun thing for me that I've missed.
So this has
So,
nothing
but
to
it's
do
good.
with what, so this has nothing to do with what you just said, but we had a team outing the other day at this bowling alley here in Omaha. And they had laser tag too. So when we were done, we went and played laser tag as a team. And there was like a group of mm, I don't know, 12, 13-year-olds, I think, that hopped in and played with us. And so it was like 3 or 4 guys on our team, and then and then that group against the rest of us. And the younger ones beat us. And so like afterwards, they like it made us feel so old. They're like, you guys need to go grab your walkers and go back to the home. And like, and we're like, wow, you guys do trash talk a lot. And then I was at the grocery store like 4 days later, and one of them came up to me and he was like, oh, you're one of those old people that we just beat the other night at the laser tag. And I was like, wow, how do you even remember that? But yeah, that's me. And I was like, they let me out of the
That's
home
funny.
today so I could go to the grocery store. So at least we can
That's
relate into that.
funny.
But
So
yeah, so
I'm like, and you
kids are
know this about me.
mean.
I'm really competitive, and I would have said like, all right, let's run it back because I hate losing at anything literally, and I think that's just part of my DNA. So I'd have talked smack back to those little kids, and we're like, all right, let's run it again. I'll pay for it, and
See, I
let's run
tried to
it
like
back. That's
sniper
my
and just like
personality.
stay in one spot the whole time. But I kind of forgot it's not really built that way. It's kind of built for you to run around the whole time. So
Yeah,
my
that's funny.
methodology didn't really work there, but that's all right.
Here's something that's kind of funny that just popped up to my head. At that mastermind that we were at, I was telling everyone that I'm kind of, I wouldn't say burnt out with real estate, but you get in these lulls of like just monotony and same thing all the
Mhm.
time, and it just gets kind of like not boring, but it's just like, ugh, another day of this. And the guy who runs our mastermind, Jason Brayford, he works for corporate HSF. He was like, something I've known about you for less. I've known him a couple years. He was a part of Rethink. He kind of helped run Rethink Council when I was on it. And he's like, you're like really competitive. And like from what I'm hearing from this is what he was saying to me. He's like, you're really competitive. And what I'm noticing is like you have no competition right now. You're not competing for really anything. And think about something that you could compete with or do something where you feel like you got your juices flowing of the competitive nature side of things. Like right now, you're just kind of going through life and I mean, you're busy, which is great, but there's nothing you're really like striving for or like have somebody that you're competing with. And he's like, think about that. And if you can pinpoint something to do, like you might get your energy back up and you might find something to, remotivate yourself. And I was thinking about that like this whole last week. And I'm like, God, he's so right. Like, I don't have any like side bets going on with anybody. I know me and you used to talk about like, hey, this quarter you're gonna sell X amount of homes or whatever that is, or go to the gym X amount of times, and it really does motivate me to have some sort of competitive nature with whatever that is. And so I'm
I
looking
will
for that
say
right
I'm
now.
not sure why, but Curtis and I are terrible accountability partners with each other. So I think we
We're
need to
not the
work on that.
best.
We need to work on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We got like 2 books down on the book of 5. We're already halfway through 2024. We're supposed to finish 5 by the end of 2023. I've gone
Yeah.
on and probably and you've probably read your own books and I've read my own, so I think we're doing okay in that regard. But yeah, for whatever. And then I just got tired of beating you in sales, so I stopped. We stopped that little side bet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But no, I
you're
agree. I
right.
mean, you can also compete with yourself. I
Yeah,
don't know if he said that to you either, but
yeah, I get that, but I also think I need some sort of like somebody else to. I mean, you can always compete with yourself to do better and be better or whatever, but
yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
there's somebody else involved and they're going through the same type of stuff, and
Right.
it is fun to kind of push each other and hold each other accountable and all the things. But so
I
yeah, that
tend
was
to
something that we were talking about. That
I tend to challenge myself with like uh, not like difficult deals, like the people are just difficult, but I like to like find, I guess, challenging things to be a part of so I can find solutions to it.
hmm
Because that keeps my mind busy and it challenges me. Like you said, I mean, real estate really is not that hard when you know what you're doing. The hard part of
hmm
real estate is getting busy at first and then staying busy. But when you have that figured out and you have a lot of referrals and you have a good following and all of that, I mean, selling a house isn't necessarily that difficult. A lot of times it's difficult with the other agent. Kind of like how they say when
Yeah.
you're driving, you don't need to worry about yourself, you need to worry about the other drivers. Well, rarely need to worry about myself in real estate. I need to worry about everybody else. And but I mean, it's not to say that what we do is not difficult, but that part I pretty much have figured out. So like I love when I do have like a challenging thing that I have to like figure out a solution for both sides and put it together and figure it out. Like then that's super rewarding to me. It much more rewarding to me than just like, oh, I had these people come in from out of town and we went and looked at 15 houses this weekend and wrote a contract and it was like full price and it was easy and blah blah blah. Like that's great. That's a paycheck and it's a client, but
Yeah.
like there was nothing rewarding about that whatsoever or challenging about
Yeah.
that whatsoever. So I totally get that side effect. I mean, I was burnt out for with real estate for like 18 months because my brain was busy with other things. Um,
Yeah.
and I just kind of had to just, I don't know, find my grounding, I guess, and come back to what does challenge me or makes me happy in real estate. So
Yeah. That's all good. I think everyone's a little different. And I think the cool part about real estate in general is like you can there's so many different personalities of people that can be successful in this business, and it's finding your tribe and finding your people that you want to work with and the deals you want to do and all that kind of stuff. So you can be as busy as you want, or you can just do a few deals a year if you want to.
yeah, like I was just talking
But
to Tyler about that. Like there's a guy on my team and I'm like, why don't you do open houses? And he goes, Michael, I've done them for 7 years and I have never gotten a client from it. And so either he sucks at it or that's just not his thing, right? Like me,
mhm.
I will never make cold calls. I don't make sales calls. I hate those. Like I just don't even like to be on the phone in general. So I just didn't grow up that way. I obviously grew up texting and so did you. And that's so it's sort of like finding your thing, like you said, like what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah,
And I didn't use a CRM up until a year and a half ago, and I only started using one so my team would start using one. But I just used to have an Excel spreadsheet, and I just knew,
yeah,
just on the top of my head, like I'd reach out to people on my own. I don't need a CRM to tell me who to reach out to and when to reach out to them. I just do it on my own, and I talk to people so often anyway, so it's never really a big deal. Um, so again, like just learning what works for you and what doesn't. There's 1,000 ways to become successful and make money, and you kind of just have to figure out which one's going to be for you, right? So
yeah. That's the beauty of it. And I think that's also a challenging part as a team lead to figure out what works for who on your team, especially if they're new, because they have no idea.
well, yeah, when someone tells
But
me that
I
they haven't
think,
met a single client in an open house in 7 years, it I've kind of figured out that that's not his thing. So now I have to figure out what his thing is and how I can help him.
yeah, and I'm sure his heart wasn't in it at all. I mean, there's some people that actually they crush open houses because it's their thing and they like
Mm-hmm.
love to set up and door knock before and do all the things that make it successful. And then there's other people that just feel like it's an obligation that they have to do and they're gonna half-ass it the
See, and
entire
that's kind of
time
like
and
what's
not be happy
weird
while they're
because
there. And
I
you
love the
know,
open houses from like meeting people and from the relationship standpoint. Like I don't I don't sit there with the intention of thinking I'm ever going to sell that house that's there. Um,
yeah,
I do it with I get to meet people and I put on like a little like event of an open house. Like I always make sure that there's music on and I have like food or beverages or whatever in there, little snacks and whatever. So like I put on a little event that like makes people want to stick around longer and hang out and talk and then I get to know them and then I just build a relationship with them. So that's kind of why I'm surprised
I also
you don't.
think that that goes you like to entertain. And I think that's part of why you like doing that is because that's a little piece of entertainment for you for the weekend for all the people that are there and you could host whatever. Like
That's
you like
true. No,
hosting
that's true.
parties at your you know what I mean? So I think that it definitely works with your personality because that's what you like to do. If somebody is an introvert and likes to like doesn't like people over at their house, you know what I mean? Like then open houses are obviously not going to be for them,
Yeah, I don't really know how introverts
which
make money in real estate though, but
social media maybe. I don't know.
mm, yeah,
Or they're not.
I mean, there's a lot of introverts in real
Or
estate
they
too, and they all make
uh,
money. I mean, I was an extremely
yeah.
introverted person before I got into real estate, but that kind of went away. So
Yeah. Yeah. It just kind of depends. I don't know. But yeah, again, that there's so many ways to do this business and be successful that it makes it interesting, that's for sure.
I know, and that's all I did when I was brand new. I was like a big sponge for 2 years. I went and I talked to every agent I could. I annoyed the shit out of them. And I learned a lot of things that I don't want to do. And then I learned a lot of things I do want
Yeah.
to do. So, I mean, I think, and that's true. I mean, in any business, just trying to talk to as many people that have been in, been in that business and have been in your shoes and just what that great advice is going to be. Right. So,
Yeah, for sure. And it whatever fits your personality and
because like, what's that
I mean, I'm a
question they
big
always
believer in
ask
all
at
that.
convention? Like, they have this big panel up there, and the one question they ask is always like, if you could give one piece of advice to new people, what would it be? I literally have no idea how I'd answer that question right now.
Yeah, I would probably say something just like find what fits your personality. Like find what you actually like to do, or not even like what you like to do, but what you will do.
Hmm.
Like
Oh, that's
if
a better
it's
way of saying that.
you,
Yeah,
you
what you
you
will
have
do,
to
what you
just
still
commit
do.
to something. Like if you like to do, I mean, you still have to quote unquote prospect or talk to people at the end of the day. Like talking to people that you can't not get around that.
Right.
But what are you actually going to do? Like, are you going to cold call people? If you hate cold calling people, you're not going to cold call people. So,
Mm-mm.
like, why don't
No.
you do open houses or why don't you host something and, or even go to bars? Like, it's funny, Jeremy, that's in my office, like, I swear part of his, like, quote unquote prospecting was like going to a bar and like talking to five people at the bar.
Hmm.
And like,
So he had like
that's
a
a way
quota.
easier. Yeah. He
Wow.
had it like I had to go. I mean, granted, it wasn't every day where he was going to the bar, but like, hey, if it's twice a week and it's like, all right, I have to go to the bar, I have to sit there for 2 hours. Instead of being at an open house, I can be at the bar and I could talk to five people at the bar. That's a way more comfortable
I
scenario for
love
him when he
that.
was
That's
first starting.
cool.
You know what I mean? Like it's just something different, but it like he's gonna do it because he's
Mhm.
going to the bar. Like
Right. Here, I would run into the same
so,
5 people every time I went to the bar. So I'd be like, "Hey, Steve. Hey,
you have to pick a new
like
one.
that we run out. We only have so many. We're not Scottsdale."
Or
So
it's like playing golf. Like play golf once a week or go to the range. Do something where you're just talking to somebody new and like you know you're gonna do it. So rather than like what do I like to do, like what am I actually gonna do?
yeah, like
And maybe that'll
we have a lot of like moms on our team and just in real estate in general, right? And they've asked me, I mean, like, how do you know so many people and how do you do this? And I'm like, you have 4 children. I'm like, you have no excuse not to know a ton of people. They're all in sports, they're
yeah,
all in school, they all have activities. Like, and again, like I'll caveat this with you don't go up to people and meet them with the intention of selling a house. You just
yeah,
or growing your business or whatever. You meet them with the intention of, because humans are fascinating people, good, bad, whatever. They're fascinating people. And so the more of them you can meet, the better, like in any way.
yeah,
And that's what I mean. Like some of them are going to bring great value to your life, some of them aren't. Some of them are going to become like a trusted plumber for you or like trusted audio person or whatever, and some of them aren't. But you usually can learn something from every person you meet. And so that's what I mean. Like that idea of Jeremy's is like go out, but don't walk up and be like, "Hey, I'm Jeremy. I'm a realtor, and I want to sell you a house," because that's
yeah.
obviously
No,
not
no,
going to
no. It's
work.
not that.
So yeah,
Yeah,
like I'll caveat it with
yeah.
that. Like just go up and just meet people and talk to people and
Just
ask.
build
And
relationships.
I've
Yeah.
learned this from the book that I read, is just ask a shitload of questions. And,
Hmm.
that's also what I've learned makes you more approachable is just go ask a ton of questions and get to know that person. And if they want to get to know you, they'll ask you as many questions. If not, whatever, just focus on them the first time and get to know them and just their personality. And then, from there, you keep in touch with them and obviously grow the
Yeah.
relationship, however that's going to go. And sometimes it doesn't go anywhere, but you've met a new person. So I love that, the whole like go meet 5 people at a bar rule. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Then that's, to me, that's maybe it's not so easy, but it's definitely easier when you got a little alcohol in you, when you're a little
Hmm.
more approachable or whatever. But
Don't have too
I'm
much
also
because
a
then
big
you'll,
believer. Yeah. Like a good example for like the mom thing is like get involved with like the parent teacher conference or like be on, be involved in the school. I'm a big believer in like getting involved in whatever circle that
Mhm.
whatever you're interested in, like get involved in that circle. And especially out here, like there's a lot of people not from here. So like there's like we have like an Illini like Illinois bar. So when they're in
Mm.
the NCAA tournament, like there's a dude in my office that played football there, and I'm like, dude, that is like your gold right there to get involved with that community. You're from there, you went to school there, like you can be the trusted person that lives in Arizona. That's your those are your people,
100%.
and I think he's taking that to heart. And God, when we went to the I don't know if it was the Final Four game or Elite Eight game. I can't remember what it was, but dude, there was like 200 people there from Illinois at that bar watching the game. And I'm
Wow.
like, dude, this is money. Like you need to get involved. You need to get just every football game, every basketball game, like just and it's fun. Like you're watching
Hmm.
sports with your people. Like
Yeah,
can't
like
get
it
any
doesn't,
easier
it,
than
yeah,
that.
it doesn't feel like work. It's really easy to go and
Yeah.
meet people and socialize, and it doesn't feel about work. And you don't have to talk about real estate or whatever business you're in, and it
Yeah,
doesn't have to involve that at all. You're just,
absolutely.
because again, like I have so many clients that never ask me what I get paid, what my commission is. I know I don't compete with anybody because they just know that when they do anything real estate related, they're going to talk to Michael. And like when they go buy
Hmm.
houses in like Florida or the Ozarks or whatever, like they send me house pictures because I love that. Like I'm just that person for them. I'm not going to say
Yeah.
that I'm like deeply connected or like all of that, like to all these people, because I mean, some of them they know me as like the real estate person, which is fine. And then some of them I'm deeper connected with, but like either way, like I'm always top of mind for these people, right? And it all started with just meeting them out and about or golfing or going to a bar or whatever. I mean, shit. I mean, Sarah from down there met a dude in the bar
Oh,
from here at Explosion, and he ended up
dude,
selling his dad's house with
yeah.
her in Arizona. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
you never ever know like how those things are going to connect, or like if this person who's a bartender is actually connected, which they are, connected to thousands of people. Like, you never know.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. Like, you never know who people are. You never know who they're going to know, what they're going to teach you in your life, like what kind of value they're going to bring, things like that.
Yep. No,
So,
1000%.
well, I got a 3 o'clock, so we're gonna have to
Yeah.
so we'll have to bounce off of this. But that was a good one.
That
Here,
was good,
I'm
dude.
gonna cut our recording for a minute.
All right.